Greg Bergman. And we're still trying to figure out why the Dallas Mavericks would do this. It still doesn't make sense. Why you would trade a generational talent, a 25-year-old guy. Well, it doesn't make sense why, right? There must be something wrong. Then we started talking about Supermax for a hot minute. If there's some things he can do health-wise to change his body to make sure he gets the deal, then so be it. But if you don't and you miss the Supermax deal, then that's partially your fault. Oh, you're missing money.
Look, there is no question that Luka's conditioning issues have been in Luka's hands.
And it costs you money.
Like, this is a self-created issue. You know, is it as bad as the Mavericks have made it out to be? Are they amplifying it so they can justify to themselves making a move that the entire world thinks is bat bleep crazy?
Yeah.
Sure. That is, I'm sure that they are in their heads making Luka 15 pounds heavier than he actually is. Like, even if he is above his ideal weight, in their minds, he's 15 to 20 pounds higher. Like, he has been injured 10% more than he actually is. Like, you have to sell yourself on this.
But are you one of those guys that if you have a culture, everybody looks to establish a certain culture on a team, workplace, what have you? Now, if you have a generational talent that just doesn't fit your guidelines, do you change your guidelines and compromise, or do you let that guy go?
Well, if you ask Nico Harrison, the answer is the latter.
Jay Kidd and I, we've had a vision in the culture that we want to create since we've been here. And the players that we're bringing in, we believe exemplify that. And, you know, we think defense wins championships. And we're bringing in one of the best two-way players in the league. A lot of people don't talk about, you know, what he does defensively and offensively, but, you know, if you can name first-team All-NBA players that are also first-team All-Defensive players. That's a unique unicorn to try to find.
I hate that. The unicorn thing. It drives me nuts. I don't know why. Anyway, but I mean that's what's the one knock on Luka?
Conditioning and defense.
Right. And he wants to build he thinks defense wins championships. So if you just look in those terms, okay, this makes sense.
It makes sense. I mean, the flip side is you just got to the finals with Luka Doncic and lost. But
and Luka looked tired.
But maybe get someone defensively to help Luka instead of trading Luka
and
away.
It was also a team that had just been reconfigured at the deadline. They radically transformed themselves at the deadline and still managed to get to the finals.
But that's got nothing to do with, remember how bad Luka looked in the finals. He looked very tired, not a shade.
Well,
and they were highlighting his defensive shortcomings.
Absolutely. I mean, look, when the Lakers in 2008, you know, they traded for Pau Gasol mid-season, and they had been playing, people forget this, they'd been playing very well even before the Pau trade. Then Andrew Bynum got hurt. They started to fall off. They made the trade for Pau Gasol, reignited. You go to the finals, but they lost to the Celtics, and in Game 6, they lost by 39 points. I was in Boston for that. It was an absolute, like, it wasn't even just that they got their asses kicked. It was emasculating. Like,
it was horrible.
That was one of
the bad guys
narratives,
won.
particularly for Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom. Like, this was a manhood challenge that, whether fair or not, the two of them rose to that.
Oh, God.
The two of them said...
Give the Celtics credit. That team was loaded.
Yeah. The two of them said after that, Pau and Lamar in particular, we ain't getting pushed around anymore. Whether we had been or not, it ain't happening again. And that change led to 2 championships for the Lakers in 2009 and 2010.
So you're saying Luka is going to all of a sudden assume a different role, become that guy? I mean, I would love to see it. I just haven't seen it.
At the very least, I would like to think that this leads to Luka taking conditioning seriously, because we're talking about a hyper-competitive guy. I mean, by all accounts, Luka is insanely competitive. He's an alpha. He is a cutthroat on the court. Mm-hmm. And he has been considered like the best, most coveted since he was a teenager.
He's the man.
And he just got his ass kicked out the door by a franchise who said, we don't essentially trust you not to eat yourself into problems during your prime.
Right.
This isn't even Luka at 30, 31.
It's man in the mirror time.
Right. This is before. Some people don't even think your prime begins to 26.
Well, you can make them right. You can make them very, very right about you by how you play here, and you can make them very, very wrong about